Hey everyone. First question: do you know who this young lady is in this pic right here? Well. Let me enlighten you. This is 40-year-old Tiffany Henyard, and she is the current sitting mayor of the town of Dolton, Illinois. That's a town just south of Chicago, Illinois. It has a population of around 21,000 people, and this is the current mayor, Tiffany Henyard. Tiffany Henyard, she was a board trustee for the town of Dolton for 8 years before becoming the mayor of Dolton in 2021. She's also attained the position of Thorton Township supervisor, which covers the area of Dolton, and it covers other areas of the south suburbs of Chicago as well. So that's kind of a bigger position. Total earnings from her total salary from both positions, holding both positions, is around 250K to 300K is between. So that's her salary in that range right there from holding both positions there. Tiffany Henyard has been accused of everything since becoming mayor out there in Dolton and holding the position of Thornton Township supervisor. She's been accused of financial wrongdoing and just funneling money through charities, through illegitimate charities, and locking trustees out of their offices and taking vendettas, personal political vendettas against people who don't support her, and all types of stuff. She's been accused of all types of stuff, which has, triggered a FBI investigation into her and all types of investigations. So, with that said, let's get into some of the video and let's get into some of the information about Miss Tiffany Henyard. Let's get it. One of the biggest things about Miss Tiffany Henyard that's been talked about is her financial misdealings is her security detail. She uses excessive amount, in most people's opinion, excessive amount of Dolton police officers as her security detail. And let's check out what else going on with the security detail.
Department afford to have this many officers attached to her detail?
We can't. We really need them patrolling the streets.
So she's the part-time mayor of a south suburban village of a little more than 20,000 people.
Yet residents of Dolton are paying hundreds of thousands of dollars per year to provide security for their self-proclaimed super mayor.
Tonight, Fox 32 investigates Tiffany Henyard's security detail and the massive amount of overtime it is generating for a handful of officers. Our Dane Placco has more.
Hey guys, this is Super Mayor Tiffany Henyard, the People's Mayor and People's Supervisor.
Tiffany Henyard makes nearly $250,000 a year serving as both mayor of Dolton and Thornton Township supervisor, an elected political double dip. She's charismatic and controversial.
Nobody knows something. Don't nobody know nothing.
Here she is starting a Dolton Village board meeting dressed like the Wesley Snipes character in the movie New Jack City. Later, punctuating her political points with the help of her own DJ.
Every single resident. Pay me what you owe me. Thank you, DJ.
And it's hard to turn anywhere in Dolton without seeing Henyard's picture, or online, where she recently commemorated 9/11 with her own photo. I want to ask you a few questions.
Okay.
But when we asked Henyard a few months ago about her use of tax dollars, she was quickly hustled out of the room by armed security. And on Facebook, in videos posted by Henyard herself, we see her being driven around and surrounded by Dolton officers, which got us to wondering, why all the cops?
We weren't opposed to her having the security detail. We asked, how long and how often?
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood says Henyard began assembling her details shortly after being elected in 2021, using hand-picked Dolton police officers. Using a Freedom of Information request, we obtained the work records for 6 of the officers assigned to Henyard's security detail at various times, and showed them to some of Dolton's trustees. This is a Freedom of Information request we did to see how much overtime these officers are making on her security detail.
Oh, wow. 162 hours.
162. Well, that's nothing. What goes through your mind when you see these numbers?
It's disappointing. It's frustrating.
The officers are paid every 2 weeks, which without overtime is 80 hours. But when they're put on Henyard's detail, that 80 hours balloons to well over 100 hours, sometimes 200 hours. And in the case of Officer Terry Young last May, 303 hours worked over a 2-week period. That resulted in a single paycheck of more than $13,000.
How? How does a person put in a 2-week pay period, 303 hours? That's impossible. That's impossible.
336
Does he
hours.
never go to sleep?
In fact, there are 336 hours total in 2 weeks, meaning Young was not being paid for only 33 hours over that period. Other officers on the security detail are also racking up overtime paychecks in the multiple thousands of dollars. Mayor, mind if I ask you a couple questions about your security detail?
Absolutely not.
I'm asking her.
Yeah, she said no.
A couple weeks ago, we tried to question Henyard about her detail as she went door to door in Dolton giving out water on a 100-degree day, surrounded by police, firefighters, public works employees, and 2 videographers documenting for Dolton's Facebook page.
I want to tell the people I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep going. I hope they post what we actually do here in the village of Dolton and stop telling lies.
But when we gave her an opportunity to explain the OT, Mayor, why do you need so many
Why don't you ask about
officers
water?
detailed for your security?
What did you say, water? It sounded like you said water.
Earlier that day, we watched as a Dolton cop drove Henyard from her other job at Thorton Township to a Mexican restaurant for lunch. Trustees say the security detail picks the mayor up at her home in the morning and is with her until she's dropped off at night, often taking her on errands and shopping. Does she need a security detail?
Absolutely not. Why? Why would you need a security detail? Oh, she loves it. She just loves it. She loves the detail. I think it makes her feel as if she's like a superstar.
Dolton trustees have filed a lawsuit against Henyard, saying she's not justified the need for security and is spending hundreds of thousands of dollars on it without the board's approval.
I see no justification whatsoever, and more than that, it's really a detriment to the residents of Dolton.
How so?
The residents, if we would take the same money and put it on officers patrolling the streets, then the residents will see a much better presence and public safety would be better.
We've had a few shootings, so we need the extra police patrolling our streets instead of patrolling her.
And we found Dolton credit card statements showing that Henyard takes the detail with her even when she travels out of town, spending thousands of dollars on plane tickets, lodging, and meals for the officers. Mayor, why are you taking all the officers out of town with you? Isn't that a waste of taxpayers' money?
Let's go to this one right here.
Anything you want to say to defend yourself on this? As for the village's finances, trustees say Dolton is now getting sued by some vendors for failure to pay its bills.
In the last 2 fiscal years, we're $5 million in the hole. And a big part of it is the security detail.
It's embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
It's embarrassing. You don't see the governor with a detail as hers.
That lawsuit over the mayor's detail has not yet been settled. On Monday, we emailed a list.
And the security detail is not the only alleged misuse of taxpayers' funds out in this area that she covers, but there's more. Check this out of her misuse of taxpayers' funds. Let's see what's going on. It's all alleged.
WGN Investigates has learned a suburban politician's charity has attracted the attention of the Illinois Attorney General after failing to file financial documents. We've reported on Tiffany Henyard before. She holds 2 elected positions, Dolton Mayor and Thorton Township Supervisor. She also prides herself on raising money for cancer patients.
But as investigative reporter Ben Bradley reports, she's now facing penalties for not reporting how she spent the money.
Tiffany Henyard collected $287,000 back in 2022 from her 2 elected positions. That's the same year she founded a charity in her name, a charity that has received considerable tax dollars but hasn't filed basic records with the Illinois Attorney General or the IRS that would show how cancer patients have actually benefited.
I want people to know that I'm caring.
Tiffany Henyard told me in November she cares. Apparently so much so, it's also the name of her charity.
Check it out.
The Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation posts videos highlighting walks and other events that prominently feature the politician proudly promoting her cancer charity.
I just want people to know that, hey, Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation is here. We will help anybody in need.
She certainly may help some, but Henyard's charity has failed to file required financial statements showing income and expenses. WGN Investigates obtained this letter from December in which the Illinois Attorney General threatened civil penalties are imposed against persons who do not register with this office as required.
But there's no foundation in the state of Illinois moving like we moving and shaking, moving like we doing. Right, That's right.
Henyard mixes her 2 taxpayer-funded jobs and charity work.
Anybody else after that, lady? That's it.
That's Keith Freeman sitting next to her at a Dolton meeting where he's the village administrator. Freeman is also an advisor to Thorton Township, and he's the guy listed as the registered agent of Tiffany Henyard's foundation.
I think it's just about personal gain and trying to use it as more of a publicity type thing.
Chris Gonzalez is the last surviving critic of Henyard on the Thornton Township Board. He and other critics say public money has been used to fund Henyard's private charity. They say board members were asked to approve a $10,000 payment to the foundation in 2022, days before a much publicized cancer walk from Dolton to Springfield. Thornton Township credit card records show taxpayers then footed the bill for more than $10,000 in hotel rooms along the route.
I saw the video. Township vehicles being used, township employees being used. Once again, were they paid? Were they given comp time or things of that nature? So there's just, unfortunately, there's a long list. Hotel use, meals.
But I shouldn't have to sit up here and break all this down.
Henyard sometimes shouts down or shuts down questions about expenses while presiding over public meetings, as we learned in November. That's when we reported Thornton Township taxpayers spent thousands of dollars on a trip to Las Vegas, where a shopping center conference was underway. Henyard and her allies spent thousands on everything from steak dinners to hotels and what appeared to be first-class airfare.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Actually, we have a lot more questions, but neither Tiffany Henyard.
Yes, Miss Tiffany, we do have more questions for you. But I just wanted to say, that Vegas trip sounded like you had a good time. That Vegas trip did sound like you did have a good time. But moving on, you just, as I was watching that last clip, did anybody notice how she was promoting the cancer thing, Tiffany Cares and everything, but then I guess she thought twice about it, and we got this.
WGN Investigates has an update on a questionable cancer charity now being investigated by the Illinois Attorney General. The South Suburban politician, who the charity is named after, is now denying direct involvement in the foundation that bears her name.
All I can tell you is that I'm not the one on anything. That's the only thing I can tell you right now. So I'm just trying to answer to the...
So you're saying there's a foundation that's not registered, but it has nothing to do with you?
Correct. That's true.
Okay.
That's
so
true.
You're not aware of any of the work that they've done, money that they've raised, anything along those lines?
Correct.
Okay.
Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard appeared on Roland Martin Unfiltered on YouTube last night. It comes after WGN Investigates reported the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation claims to support cancer patients but hasn't filed required financial disclosures to say how it raises or spends money. Henyard's claim that she's not involved in the foundation is contradicted by statements at public meetings and social media videos she's posted. As we've reported, her top advisor was also listed as the charity's registered agent. The Attorney General has ordered the foundation to stop soliciting money and is threatening legal action.
Runes loads.
Wow, to be quite honest, Miss Tiffany, it's kind of hard to believe that you didn't have nothing to do with Tiffany Cares. We saw earlier that you were promoting it like it was yours foundation, but now you're saying that you had nothing to do with that. But hey, all this confusion has raised the antenna of the FBI, and now they're looking into you, Miss Tiffany. I hope you know that.
Indicating the FBI has launched an investigation into controversial Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Dane Placco has been following allegations of her misspending and joins us now with an update. Dane.
Yeah, we've been reporting for nearly 2 years on allegations of corruption surrounding Henyard in her capacity as Dolton Mayor and Thorton Township Supervisor. And now we've learned from multiple sources that federal agents are in fact interviewing witnesses as part of a possible investigation that may or may not result in charges. Did the FBI agents you talked to seem serious about
very serious
concerns?
Very serious. Very.
Lawrence Gardner owns a U-Haul rental and trucking business in South Suburban Dolton and says he went to the FBI several months ago, frustrated that the village of Dolton would not renew his business license. Gardner says he's been harassed and his business raided and shut down by Dolton police. He believes because he refused to make a donation to a civic event sponsored by Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
And I talked to a couple of agents and I explained them what was going on. I gave them all my paperwork to show them what was happening in court and what was happening in Dolton. And they told me they was investigating and they would be in touch with me.
Gardner is one of 6 people who confirmed to Fox 32 that they've been interviewed by the FBI, ranging from Dolton business owners to a former village employee and at least one public official. And we've learned the FBI has been using electronic surveillance as part of its investigation. Agents are asking questions about Henyard's alleged use of taxpayer dollars and resources, including massive spending on out-of-town trips, hundreds of thousands of dollars in police overtime for her personal security detail, using public employees and tax dollars for personal benefit, and holding up licenses to certain businesses like this Dolton restaurant.
I've heard rumors that say, hey, I'm on the wrong team.
Dwayne Wood has been trying to renew the business license for his restaurant for nearly a year. While he has not talked to the FBI, he believes he can't get approved because he's provided catering to several Dolton trustees who are engaged in a political fight with Henyard.
I think I've been just targeted because of my affiliation with a certain group of people. You know, I had the trustees. I've cooked for the trustees.
And in a lawsuit filed by a Dolton towing company, the owner alleges their business license has been held up because, quote, George's Towing's refusal to support or contribute to Henyard's political campaign. In a statement, Dolton trustee Jason House reacted to the news of the FBI's involvement. We welcome any investigation that will bring transparency on how taxpayer dollars are being spent. Our residents deserve this level of financial transparency. We reached out to the FBI, which said it is policy for the agency not to comment on the nature, existence, or non-existence of any investigation that may
way tonight into the Dolton mayor's spending habits.
And the Illinois Attorney General is telling Mayor Tiffany Henyard to stop improperly soliciting donations.
CBS 2 investigator Megan Hickey has the latest on the mounting criticism against the village's embattled mayor.
Sources here in Dolton tell us they've already been interviewed by the FBI and they've already been in touch with the Cook County State's Attorney's Office concerning the mayor's spending, including lavish personal spending reportedly on the taxpayer's dime.
We are in dire need of transparency.
Dolton trustee Brittany Norwood is one of 4 trustees who held a special meeting Thursday and passed a resolution calling for an outside investigation into Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
Of course I'm the youngest female there, no. Of course I am.
Norwood says they already have some proof she's misusing village funds and adding to Dolton's multi-million-dollar deficit. She says the board has repeatedly asked for recent financial documents and been denied.
The last time we received a bank statement was in September of last year, and we were $7 million in debt at that time. So at this current moment, we're saying, hey, where are the bank statements so that we can know where we are?
The trustees say they want to see all of the documentation surrounding Henyard's spending, including self-promoting, taxpayer-funded billboards and other ads. They also question spending on lavish trips and extravagant dinners.
Fine dining, all of this travel, and we're saying, hey, why are we going to these places? What's happening here?
In addition to the spending, investigators have also probed Henyard's charity, the Tiffany Henyard Cares Foundation, for improperly soliciting donations. On Wednesday, the Attorney General's office sent a cease and desist letter to the charity, warning that they'd already sent several letters to the charity because they were not registered with the state. We reached out to Mayor Henyard for comment and received a statement instead from Dolton's village administrator. The response did not address the AG's cease and desist letter, but called the resolution from Dolton trustees to investigate the mayor's spending a circus. This is just another example of a few trustees in the village of Dolton spreading lies and false allegations, the statement read in part. Norwood said the meeting held at Dolton Park because they were locked out at Village Hall.
They put out mailboxes outside, so
was their only option.
We're going to continue to fight for transparency. We're going to continue to ask for transparency.
For a look at the village administrator's full response, head to our website and click this story.
With everything going on, the rising frustration of the residents and everything, it kind of reached ahead and with the frustration at a recent town hall meeting in Dolton, Illinois. Let's check this out with Tiffany Henyard. So the residents are really getting frustrated. Let's check it out.
Also breaking tonight, one of the most chaotic meetings in Dolton that we've seen yet. Police had to stop it from getting physical.
Let's get right to political reporter Paris Schutz and the showdown between Lori Lightfoot and Dolton Mayor Tiffany Henyard. Paris.
Dawn and Scott, that showdown is continuing outside of Dolton Village Hall. Trustees voted 4-2 to override Mayor Henyard's veto and reinstate Mayor Lori Lightfoot's investigation into Henyard's spending into that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And as you mentioned, soon after that vote, things just broke down into utter chaos. Multiple sides shouting obscenities at each other. Cops had to step in and break it up. This is right after Henyard and her allies tried to block Lightfoot from getting up and making some brief remarks. Eventually, Lightfoot got her mic turned on, and here's a little bit of what she had to say.
What I will say is that it's an honor to be working on behalf of the residents of Dolton. We want resident
You was once a mayor too. You should not even be disrespectful like that. That's sad. Clear the room. Clear the room, guys. This means adjourn. Everybody out.
So 2 hours of absolute contention here. Lots of residents voicing their concerns. Earlier today, Mayor Henyard had the block in front of Village Hall cordoned off, making it very difficult for folks to get here, especially if you were senior or disabled. So Lightfoot's investigation, at least according to trustees, is back on now. It's going to focus into Henyard's spending of village resources as well as that 2023 trip to Las Vegas. And Henyard doesn't believe the investigation is legal. Now, residents lined up hours before the meeting. They got in, they packed the Village Hall, and they let their feelings about Mayor Henyard be known.
You're not going to understand until they put those cuffs on you. You're not going to understand it. You don't care. But baby, they on to you.
It is a shame that we, the public, can't ask you anything about the BMWs, the Range Rovers, all of that. It's like you're keeping all of that hidden from the taxpayers, and we pay for those.
You guys are following fiction, a made-up story. It is a smear campaign going on right now. People are using...
So as you can see right outside Dolton Village Hall here on MLK Drive in the village of Dolton, residents still fuming, still voicing their concerns to police officers. Police officers had to keep the peace as the meeting erupted into chaos. But the news out of this meeting, trustees vote 4-2 against Mayor Henyard. They reinstate Lightfoot's investigation into things that the FBI is also probing right now. A lot of things happening here in Dolton, and Dawn and Scott will continue to follow it in the days to come. But
Wow. This seems like a very toxic situation going on out there in Dolton. Very toxic situation, as you can see. A lot of residents seem to be fed up. Wow. So it seems very toxic for the mayor of Dolton, Illinois, Ms. Tiffany Henyard. But like I said, these are all allegations at this point. We don't know if any of this are true or not, but it's not looking good for Miss Henyard out there. I'm gonna make sure to keep on and follow this story, because this is really an interesting story here. It's like, wow. So, you gotta follow this story, man. Shout out to Dolton out there, Dolton, Illinois. Wow. And the residents of Dolton, Illinois. This story is not going away anytime soon. Wow. For a small town of around 21,000, y'all sure making big noise there. I tell you, the residents there and their mayor, Miss Tiffany Henyard, they're making big noise there. So, like I said, there are allegations at this point, real serious allegations of mismanagement of taxpayers' funds and amongst other things. And I'm just saying it's not looking good. I'm not convicting anyone. I'm just saying it's not looking good. But who knows? I'm definitely still on top of this story. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this report. I hope you liked this video, share this video, comment on this video. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. And with that, let's leave this video right here for right now, and I'll check you in the next video. And I'm out. Peace. One love.